The air was thick with gunpowder and fear. On June 17, 1933, in the heart of Kansas City, a quiet morning shattered into chaos that would forever change the course of American justice. In just 30 seconds, 7 men lay bleeding beside Union Station, their bodies twisted across the platform, the smell of smoke clinging to the summer air. Among them was an FBI agent who never even had the chance to draw his weapon. Before I tell you what happened next, tell me in the comments where you were watching from. I love knowing who is listening. To understand how this blood-soaked morning gave birth to the modern FBI, we have to step back, to a time when federal agents carried no guns, no authority to arrest, and little respect from hardened criminals. The 1930s were a battlefield of crime and desperation. The Great Depression had turned men into outlaws and outlaws into legends. Names like John Dillinger, Bonnie and Clyde, and Pretty Boy Floyd haunted the headlines. And in those days, the FBI, still called the Bureau of Investigation, was seen as toothless. Agent Raymond Caffrey knew this better than anyone. A man of principle, calm and loyal to the badge, Caffrey had served for years without ever firing a shot. But that June morning, he was given an assignment that felt different. His orders were simple: escort a federal prisoner named Frank Jelly Nash back to prison after his capture. Nash was a notorious bank robber, charming, dangerous, and somehow always one step ahead of the law. When Caffrey met him, Nash smiled as if greeting an old friend. "You boys must be proud," he said, smirking, "catching me twice in one lifetime." Caffrey didn't smile back. He just nodded, thinking of the agents who had died chasing Nash the first time. What he didn't know was that even as they drove toward Kansas City as Union Station, men with machine guns were already waiting for them. The plan was supposed to be simple: a quick prisoner transfer from train to car. But simplicity was a luxury the Depression-era Midwest no longer offered. As the train hissed into the station, Caffrey's instincts whispered that something was wrong. The platform was too quiet. The air felt too still. Even the pigeons had vanished. And then, chaos. A black Ford pulled up fast, too fast. The car doors flew open, and gunfire erupted like thunder. Bullets tore through glass and steel, echoing across the platform. Caffrey barely had time to shout, "Take cover!" before a burst from a Thompson submachine gun cut him down. Nash, the man they'd fought so hard to capture, was riddled with bullets instantly. It was over in half a minute. When the smoke cleared, 4 law enforcement officers and 2 civilians lay dead. The shooters vanished into history. Some said it was Pretty Boy Floyd. Others denied it till their dying breath. But the truth was simpler, darker. The FBI had just been humiliated. The nation was outraged. Newspapers screamed headlines like "Massacre in Kansas City" and "Slaughter of the Lawmen." Citizens demanded justice, and President Franklin Roosevelt listened. Within weeks, new laws were passed. The Bureau of Investigation was armed. Agents were granted the power to arrest. Training became mandatory. Science and discipline replaced luck and intuition. For the first time, fingerprints, ballistics, and forensic labs became tools of justice. The Kansas City Massacre had drawn blood, but it also forged steel. Out of that tragedy, a new kind of lawman was born. J. Edgar Hoover, the young director of the Bureau, saw an opportunity amid the horror. He vowed never again would federal agents be victims. Under his leadership, the Bureau transformed into the Federal Bureau of Investigation, a name soon whispered with both respect and fear. But there was a cost. The agents became symbols of justice, yes, but also instruments of power. Moral lines blurred. Wiretaps, surveillance, and secret files became weapons as potent as any gun. The same massacre that made the FBI strong also made it dangerous. Was it worth it? That's the question history still asks. For Agent Caffrey's widow, the answer came quietly. She received a folded flag and a letter that began with the words, "He died in service to his country." She placed that flag in a wooden case and never remarried. For her, the FBI wasn't born in glory, it was born in grief. And yet, from that grief came something lasting. A shield that would one day bring down mobsters, serial killers, and spies. Every badge, every gun, every arrest today traces back to that blood-stained morning in Kansas City. Because sometimes, justice must be broken before it can be rebuilt. Because courage doesn't begin with victory. It begins with loss. And if you ever walk through Union Station today, you might still feel it. The echo of gunfire, the whisper of history reminding us that freedom, like justice, always comes at a price. So, what do you think? Did the FBI's rebirth come from heroism or tragedy? Tell me your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe to Whispered Words, where history speaks softly but powerfully.